Hi, I'm Sarah Burns, and I want to thank you for taking a few moments to listening to my YouTube channel. I am the owner of Sacred Transformations Reiki, which is based on the five element theory. I started last fall doing a series on healing in the seasons, so we are moving into healing in the winter months, which I think is a good time to bring these things up. Winter in the West started, of course, on December 21st, but according to Chinese medicine, winter falls a lot sooner in their year. And in actuality, they will be moving out of winter on January 19th of this year into spring, which is Chinese New Year's. That's when their seasons begin. But I'm going to stick with the West. And that means that we are in just beginning the winter months here. And we will be here until March 21st, when we enter into spring. So, why is this important? Well, because a lot of times this time of year, what I see in my own practice, and I hear it from friends as well, I'm not doing a lot. I'm being lazy. I heard that last night. I'm just slacking off. And there's almost the shame that comes along with it that you're not doing enough. And I do think in our culture, it's a terrible way that we've become because we are a culture of doing, 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 doing. If we're not doing, there's something wrong with us. We should feel ashamed for not doing. And really, this time of year is about really slowing down and taking time to restore our bodies. Um, I'm in San Diego, so it's sunny here all year long, but I've been here since the 80s, and we definitely, even in our climate, we experience a cooling down, and we also experiencing the sun going down really early. And so those are the things that we need to look at is, you know, how dark it is. We are in a yin period of time in the seasons. And so that's what we need to focus on. So this time of year, the kidneys and the bladder channel are connected to the water element, and it corresponds to the winter months. So the key to this also is that I've mentioned this in past videos that we also have a very yin energy, condensed yin energy stored in our kidneys called jing. And this is the essence of all of our ancestral energy. And when that energy is completely depleted, we die. So the idea is, if thinking about this gene energy, is that we want to live to conserve it. Oftentimes, this time of year, with people making New Year's resolutions, we start making all these tremendous goals, and we will make a push to get those goals accomplished from the very beginning of the year. And this creates an imbalance that can show up later in the year because of how we treat this time of year in the winter months. We need to be slowed down and conserve. It's fine to make those resolutions, but we need to still pull within right now and maybe create a plan, a long-term plan in creating those goals. Oftentimes, though, the mistake I see particularly with diet. And I know this year for me, I did go and have dinner with friends on Christmas, and I'm still paying for it because there was a lot of processed food, a lot of seed oils, a lot of sugar, um, mimosas, alcohol. And I'm paying for it now. My joints are really hurting. I'm not sleeping well because of all of that. Um, but a lot of times people will think, oh, I put on a few pounds and now I need to eat salads and I need to start working out at the gym. That's that's completely wrong way of looking at this time of year. I've trained with Dr. Georgia Ede, and she's a Harvard trained psychiatrist. And there is now a movement. It's called metabolic psychiatry. Has some issues with the label of that, but the concept behind it is that working with moderate protein and high fat stabilizes our mood. It improves our brain health. And this is really important for this time of year in particular because in Chinese medicine, the kidneys are related to bone marrow, our bone marrow, as well as our brains are a byproduct of our gene and our kidney energies. And so the brain is actually 90%, if not more, made of fat. And so this concept of doing a plant-based diet, what tends to get neglected is putting healthy fats in our diet. One of the biggest issues that I've had with my clients is seeing how entrenched we've become in this culture that eating primarily plants, not eating meat, not eating fat is the way we need to be taking care of ourselves, when in fact it's just the opposite. We need to be pulling back on our carbs, and plants are carbs. We need to pull that back, and we need to focus on fortifying our diets with fat as well as meat. There's nothing wrong with meat. I'm going to just say it. There is nothing wrong with meat. It's a very nutrient dense food. And this is a good time of year to be eating that. If you think about nature, and I came from the Midwest, we aren't growing crops in winter. We're not. So we have to start honoring what is available seasonally for us to eat. And usually those things are meats, and that meat helps us to kind of pull within some more and stabilize and enriching our bodies again with fat, particularly our brain. So winter is really a time of restoration. It's not a time to be going out into the world and pushing um, for things to happen. It's a time for us just to kind of pull back and get some ideas about what didn't work for us last year, but how can I improve on some of these things? What needs to be let go? And what seeds do I need to be planting now for the rest of the year? You can cultivate those plans. You can make those plans. You can put it on paper and go, this is the first step I need to do, and the second step. Doing it, even a diet, making those changes. When somebody comes to me and I'm trying to get them to do more of a keto-based diet, I always begin by saying, let's see where you are first with the amount of carbs that you're eating. And let's take it down step by step. because even with a diet, doing something too drastic again, you're not going to stick with it. You need to do it gradually so that your body can get acclimated to it. So that's really key. The other piece of winter that we need to be looking at is really about our sleep and really giving ourselves permission to go within and do more uh, um, sleeping. You can also work with your dreams. And if you're not a dreamer, one of the best ways to get that energy of connecting with our dream states again, very simple technique that I've taught many of my clients that does work well, is just to get a journal. If you don't remember your dreams, once again, you lay the foundation by writing down, I choose not to remember my dreams. In time, you'll get glimpses. So then you'll journal about the glimpses of your dreams, and then they will take on more um, activity, let's say, that you'll remember in time. And this is a good time to get into that mode of learning how to connect deeper with your dreams, because we are in this yin period of time, once again, to where we need to be going more within than to be out in the world doing. And so this is a good time to give yourself permission to do that kind of work, or to meditate, or to do gentler exercises like stretching and yoga. All of those things would be really good to do at this time. It's good also to focus on the things that are causing the anxieties that you're having. If you are an anxious person, if you don't get a handle on it at this time of year, it will really exacerbate in the summer months. And so, and the reason for that is because if the water element is deficient, which is what the kidney energy is consisting of, if it's not cultivated, if it's not being nurtured, then that fire in summer is going to be really enhanced in the heart area. The water element controls the fire element. So, working on building up that water element now is really the goal for this time of year. And the best way to do it is to go within and allow yourself to slow down, work on those issues that have been really disturbing you. It's just interesting. I just finished a session with someone this morning that when they called, it sounded as if it had to do with something more like from a shamanic point of view. And yes, there was a shamanic element to it. But as the conversation went on, the theme of it was really about sexual trauma and the kidney element, kidney energies. And so working on that piece of it was very important, because it also, as I mentioned about the gene energy, has to do with our ancestral energy. And as we did more work, it became relevant that there has been an ongoing ancestral history of sexual abuse by all the women in her ancestral line. And so the ancestral healing is also a really good time, because what you may have experienced with sexual abuse in particular is probably something that has transpired through the generations. And so doing some work around that the sexual healing is also a really good thing to be focused on this time of year. Um, One of the best ways to do this is by actually pulling in through the left nostril a blue light, which represents the water element. From the Tibetan Bon tradition, they would also be working with a simple mantra, Ma Mam, M-A-M, and that's calling in the deity of the water element. And you could see that blue light being blue deities coming in with pure water and filling in the kidney energy, and then scooping out all the sludge and black water and breathing it out through your right nostril. Um, and the blue deities carrying it off to a land for it to get cleared. And to keep that energy up, um, you could do this as a daily habit, routine of pulling it into the kidney areas, um, seeing them, filling it with the pure blue light of the water element, and then exhaling the darkness, the sludge of old water element. And if you make this a daily habit, you'll be really surprised as to the information that you get, um, particularly about your relationships, because this is what the water element also is about. It's about the quality of the relationship you have with others. And so this time of year is also about really focusing on relationship healing. So that's just a few things to consider this time of year to be working on. And I will say one other thing, just on a physical level. Not only can you have kidney issues, but a good sign of you having like a kidney deficiency would be chronic low back pain. And that would be a sign that you should go in and get some healing done energetically, either through Reiki or acupuncture, to help get your kidneys fortified again. So this is just a general idea of some things to be working on seasonally, and I hope that you found some information helpful in here. And if you need more assistance, feel free to reach out to me for healing. I can work distantly or in my office, and I do work with Reiki and shamanism. And I also am a brain health coach and can help you with making some dietary changes to get you on better track to good brain health. So I'm Sarah Burns, and again, I hope this information was helpful. Feel free to reach out and look at my website, centerforsacredtransformation.org, for more information. You take care and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.